Live from New York City, it's the Gary Null Show. And now, your host, Gary Null.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gary Null. It's always a pleasure to be able to share this time with you because everyone deserves to live a longer and healthier life. My job is to try to present information that is easily usable, not expensive, and something that we can incorporate into the normal 24 hours of each day, such as exercise, meditation, proper diet. And at the core of everything is honoring the reason that we're alive. Why should we put a smile on our face each morning when we get out of bed? But we should. How can we deal with all the travesties and crises and problems that we all face at different times in different ways? But we must. And most people find a way of surviving. But why don't we survive at a high quality of life, not just a high standard of living? Those who can afford it can live at a high standard. Good for them. But for the rest of us, we try to find a way to make whatever we have enough to be enough in a given day. And that's where we begin today. University of South Australia has something very simple. How about this? Almonds can help you cut calories. And already people around the world, mainly in developed nations, including India, are finding that the more wealth they have, and I'm not talking about rich people, I'm talking about just the more wealth, they tend to eat foods that Americans eat, tend to overeat, not exercise enough. As a result, they end up with obesity, and with that, an increased risk of heart attacks and strokes, cancers, and depression. Weight loss is not the easiest thing for most people, especially as you get older and your metabolism slows down. But a handful of almonds, that's all we're talking about, just a handful of almonds, helps keep extra calories at bay, according to new research at the University of South Australia. Examining how almonds can affect appetite, researchers found that a snack of about 30 grams to 50 grams, now mind you, it's 20.35 grams to an ounce. So we're only talking about 1 to 2 ounces of almonds a day. Throw them in a blender, eat them, but get them into your body because that can cut back the number of calories you consume each day. This was published in the European Journal of Nutrition. The study found that people who consumed almonds, as opposed to other energy creating carbohydrates like bread, pretzels, etc., reduced their appetite and lost weight. And by the way, there's a lot of good other elements within the almonds, as there is with almost all nuts, can also maintain a more level blood sugar. And that's important. You don't want that spike. So if you feel satiety or satisfaction, you're going to reduce your food intake. And that also encourages weight loss. In addition to exercise, of course. You've heard me mention many times that we need good bacteria into our gut. Clean foods, clean bacteria, stronger immune system all over the body. And it's always good throughout your life to keep maintaining healthy bacteria because all it takes is sugar and yeasty foods and a lot of refined carbohydrates like potato chips and French fries and pizzas. And now you have a gut filled with harmful bacteria. You don't want that. So let's do a cleanse. One of the best things you can do for cleansing and lower your blood sugar and your blood pressure is to start your day with a 16-ounce glass of fresh cucumber, celery juice, and some lemon thrown in. All right? Then follow that by taking some probiotic-rich supplements, easy to find, not that expensive, and that gets a new colony going. And then just stay off the bad foods. It's that simple. Well, probiotics help maintain a healthy microbiome when taken with antibiotics. This is Texas Christian University. Now, a lot of people, and this was published in the Journal of Medical Microbiology, but they reviewed all the published literature and the question concerning whether probiotics, the good bacteria, should be taken along with antibiotics to support gut health. And although probiotics decrease the adverse gastrointestinal effects caused by antibiotics, And that's why anytime you've had antibiotics, immediately follow it with high doses of probiotics to reestablish healthy gut. And their ability to preserve intestinal microbiota composition is negatively affected every time you have any antibiotics. Even eating foods that have antibiotics in the growing process can negate good health. So what they found is that when you have an antibiotic, and there are times in life where you need it to kill some bad bacteria that otherwise might cause your death. So, but we also need good bacteria, and we need that on a regular basis. Please understand that while antibiotics can destroy bad bacteria, it also destroys the good bacteria at the same time. So just make sure you're getting your good bacteria along with the antibiotic that's killing off a lot of good bacteria and bad bacteria. They studied 29 studies over a 7-year period, and that's the conclusions that consuming probiotics with antibiotics can prevent and reduce some changes caused by the antibiotics to the microbiome. And by the way, I also do this with all of the animals that I take care of, dogs, cats, monkeys. Yeah, if for some reason the vet says, well, we've got to kill off some bacteria, I immediately give them probiotics at higher doses for at least a week, something you should consider. Now, the science shows that's correct. Also, from the University of California at Irvine, a new study shows repeated stress accelerates the aging of the eye. Now, we know that stress increases cortisol. That's the major hormone. Now, cortisol is actually necessary in case you're in a fight or flight situation. If suddenly it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you hear a window break, you're going to have to get yourself ready to run or fight. And cortisol is nature's way of allowing us that opportunity. But you don't want cortisol on all the time. That's dangerous because cortisol also causes epinephrine, catecholamines, adrenaline to all shoot up. And chronic stress means you're chronically on a 5-alarm fire. And that will cause massive inflammation. And that inflammation can cause death. You literally can have a heart attack or a stroke because of high levels of stress. You're certainly going to live a shorter life by a lot of years. One of the things I do, and I've mentioned it several times, in fact, on yesterday's show I mentioned it, I do a simple meditation. It doesn't take long, and I do it every night before I go to bed. I'm asleep within 30 seconds going to bed. Why? Because I write down on a sheet of paper, everything is stressing me, everything that I've got to get to, don't want to forget. And sometimes there's 20 things on that list. But at least I say to myself on that list, tomorrow, when I get up, these are the things I'm going to take care of in this order. That immediately disconnects the stress that could occur by thinking, oh, I've got so much to do, I'm not going to be able to get it all done. How am I going to get all this done? So that's one thing. Write out a list of what you want to accomplish the next day and not that night, because otherwise you're going to be thinking about it and it's going to keep you awake. The next thing I do is I do a simple mantra, calm, calm. I just keep repeating it. And as I repeat the word calm, my whole body just relaxes. Tension, whether it's in the neck or lower back, and your muscles are at ease. So now with calm, you're no longer stressed. And then you allow yourself just to float in this kind of ethereal, wonderful space of just being relaxed. Your whole body's calm. And like that, you're asleep. And a deep sleep, generally for around 5 hours of deep sleep. And that's what you want. You want the deep REM sleep. And that's how you get it. Of course, I don't need anything. I have no cell phones. I don't have electromagnetic pulsing even right now. Now, for those of you who are watching this, I'm videoing for the last week and a half. I'm videoing on my health and nutrition segment. Why? Why don't I video the whole hour? Why, I do that if it's important. But we take the health and nutrition segment just by itself, what I'm doing now, and we send that out to all these new sites we didn't used to do. And so now we brought into the office a new expert on placing all the videos that I have on YouTube, thousands. Those are all going over to all these other sites. And I've mentioned these sites in the past. I'll mention them again today. So now we're seeing these numbers, like on one site, we now have around 30,000 views in 1 week. All right. We have a lot of new people watching the program all over the world, because I'm getting correspondence around the world. So just to let you know why I'm filming one part, because then they immediately get that out. But we also have a ton of information. I'm talking about hundreds upon hundreds of health nutrition segments, free. Go to PRN.Live or GaryNull.com. It'll guide you to those sites. In any case, just understand that stress ages your whole body. Have you ever noticed when someone goes in to be present, their hair is one color, they come out as white, or whitish? That's stress. Now, also bet they don't give themselves a nice massage at night, like a 5-minute massage that stimulates blood circulation to the follicles. Then you take a little bit of olive oil, and that's what I do. I don't blow out my hair. I don't have anything on my hair. I just got out of the shower a little while ago after my run, and I put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of coconut oil, massage it in, and then I just massage it in. That nourishes the follicle, the skin, helps you have cleaner, healthier skin, and also de-stresses, just like reflexology. If you've never had reflexology, get it. It's where a person trained in understanding that for every area of the brain, body, you have a corresponding area on the foot, and those are your release sites. So when someone's working on your large toe, that's up here across the forehead and near your crown chakra. And it relaxes, stimulates energy and energy transfer. So if you have aches and pains in different parts of the body, get a reflexology. That's important. And also, for those of you who feel overwhelmed, there's just so much you're trying to deal with and you just can't deal with it all. Fine. Then focus it in. Bring it into one thing only you can deal with. And then deal with that and master that. Then go to a second thing. If we just look at all this going wrong, it's easy to understand why the average person say, I can't deal with all this. It's too much. And then they zone out or they check out. We've had more suicides than ever before in American history in the last 3 years. And we need holistic, humanistic counseling. And we don't have that. In New York, we have some. We've got several of the best humanistic psychologists in America. Dr. Grayson, with his tapping research, tapping the body and making certain statements as you're tapping it, and suddenly energy is released. We know that Qigong can help rebalance Qi, your vital life force, your energy, your body. Little story on that is an aside, but there was a time in my life where my normal weight is 185, 6'2", 185. And that's where I have very low body fat, all muscle. But then I started racing, and that my weight went down. So I was really too thin. But I was doing great running wise. I set multiple national records, state records, meet records, won the indoor 3,000, around more or less 2,500 to 3,000 athletes every Sunday in the Metropolitan Athletic Congress indoor races. I won 10 of those, won Outstanding Indoor Athlete of the Year. And that's a lot of competition. So I was fast and won the 40K national championships, won all the national championships. I won the gold medal in the Jamaica Marathon and won a gold in my competition in the Waterfront Marathon and the Jersey Shore Marathon and the Los Angeles Marathon. A lot of marathons, did over 84 marathons. So when you're caught up into racing, you look forward to it. There's a whole community of runners, and you create friendships and you go out there and you run together. It's terrific compared to running alone, which I do now down here in Florida. Yeah, it's a big difference when you can run with people that are just great athletes, but also wonderful human beings. But I found after I had won the Empire State Games, the very next week, I went out to do a race, short race, 4 miles, nothing. I'll go out, I'm figuring in my mind, okay. And I go out very relaxed, very at ease. And I wasn't running to keep up with anyone. I wasn't elevating my adrenaline level. So for a little bit of 100 yards, half mile, you're fast. Then adrenaline's go down and your blood sugar goes with it, and lactic acid tightens you up, and now you feel like you're carrying bars of steel. So it's always best to run relaxed. So anyhow, I went out for this race. I was going to do about a 5:05 first mile and then hold my pace best I could after that. First mile was 8 minutes. Second mile was 9 minutes. Third mile was 10 minutes. I was just walking. I thought something's wrong, went into the lab. I had the Tri-State Healing Center. We had a state-of-the-art lab, and I got every lab test done you could. Nothing was wrong. Nothing, but something was wrong. It's just that maybe the sophistication of the equipment was not able to detect what was wrong. But no viruses, adrenals were fine. And so did all the blood chemistries. Everything was good, but it wasn't. Over the next 3 months, I had no speed or energy whatsoever. It also impacted, I noticed it was impacting my ability to write. Because when I sit down to write, I write until I'm finished. Essays, these commentaries that I produce, and wasn't coming together. So then I went to a person. I went to a Qigong master in New York, down in Chinatown. He knew nothing about me. And yet he did his handwork above my body. And he said, your chi is exhausted. You've burned it out. I said, explain it. He said, the chi is our vital life force. It allows us to do the things that we're unique in doing, whatever it might be. It gives you that energy. It supplies you with constant fuel. And yet it can't be measured. It's like your conscious or your mind can't be measured. Your brain can. Brain chemistry is well known. But where is the mind? Is it in the brain? No one's ever proven where it's at. And he said, I'm going to rebalance your chi. Now his hands were about this far here, looking this far off around my belly button. And the heat felt like someone had just put a non-burning but very hot stove right above me. I mean, I could feel it. It wasn't a placebo. And he held him there and moved his hands through different parts of my body, up to my thymus gland, crown chakra. He said, now you have the energy, but you must rest. I said, for how long? Your body will tell you. It took a year of resting. And then my chi came back. Well, that chi is important for healing. It's important for sharing. It's what connects you with other people, your chi, that vital life force. That's why we're attracted to some people, excited by some people, or we harmonize with some people. It's the quality of their life force. So just if any of you are exhausted because you've overworked, overtrained, overraced, or overstudied, over anything, get some Qigong and then rest. And your body will indeed tell you when it's time, because I felt one day when I woke up, I was down in Texas that time with my older brother, younger brother, Howard and Steve. And we were out walking around the property, and suddenly I said, fellas, I'm feeling really good. So I took off running. And I ran. My speed was still there. So I came back, and from then till now, I've probably done around 250 races. And just like this couple days ago, on the weekend, the state championship set a new record in my age group and won a couple gold medals. It stays if you nurture it. Negativity by other people, negative environment, toxic people, toxic thoughts, all deplete your chi. Positive thoughts, positive people, positive environment, positive ideas, and loving yourself rejuvenate your essential life force. In any case, at the University of California at Irvine, they suggest aging is an important component of retinal ganglion cell death in glaucoma, and that novel pathways can be targeted when designing new treatments for glaucoma. The study was published in Aging Cell, and a group of scientists there at the University School of Medicine described the transcriptional and epigenetic changes happening in aging retina. The team showed how stress, number one, such as intraocular stress and pressure, and causes retinal tissue to undergo epigenetic and transcriptional changes similar to natural aging. So what can you do? Well, first and foremost, get rid of the inflammatory causing agents in your diet and lifestyle. Start having more carrot juice, get the beta carotene, get the nutrients, get the red vegetables and fruits back into your diet, because that's what helps prevent glaucoma. And finally, one last thing here. What do people experience at the border between life and death? This was an interesting study done at both New York University and University of London. A new study on near-death experiences featuring 567 men and women whose hearts stopped while hospitalized in the United States and United Kingdom. And a lot of those were cardiac arrest. They were interviewed, and many of them recalled memories suggesting consciousness while undergoing CPR. Additional cardiac arrest survivors provided self-reports about what they experienced while their hearts stopped. Reports included perceiving separating from their bodies and meaningful examination of their lives. Researchers discovered spikes of brain activity up to an hour into CPR. A Dr. Parnia, who served as lead investigator of the study, explained that he and other researchers undertook this research in an attempt to scientifically explore something that health professionals have discussed anecdotally for decades. The similar stories people shared often tell about the time when their heart stopped, yet they were still in a lucid, heightened consciousness, even though their hearts had stopped, and what they saw. And yes, many, many, many people said that they saw wonderful, calming lights. They were not afraid. They felt at peace. And then in comes the people helping them to revive. And yet during that period of time, they were conscious. And by the way, a lot of people that had been in comas, when they've gotten out of the coma, said they were aware of everything said, but they couldn't respond. Just something to think about. We're out of time for our health and nutrition segment. Just want to mention one last thing. Athletes and bodybuilders are always eager to learn more about new products that can help enhance their workouts by promoting strength and stamina. Well, there's a natural compound. It's called agmatine, Agmatine. It's often used by health enthusiasts as a pre-workout supplement. Now, according to the latest research, it can also potentially be used to boost brain health and improve mood. In fact, in one scientific review, researchers suggest that the compound can help prevent neurodegenerative diseases and assist in the recovery of brain-injured patients. So, something that you should consider. Let me spell it again. AGMATINE. All right. You can find it naturally. It's produced in your body from arginine, an amino acid found in chickpeas and lentils. Okay. So now we have a lot of good new information to start our day with. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. And remember, to the thousands of you who've signed up for the Gary Null newsletter, which you get every morning on your computer, and it tells you what's good, what's not good that day, as far as what you can do to enhance your well-being. It's all good information, all positive, all uplifting. Just go to GaryNull.com and scroll down to newsletter or PRN.Live, and it'll show you how to get to the newsletter. Okay, back in a moment.
All right, sounded great, Gary.
Okay, how long was that?
That was about 27 minutes right now, but that also doesn't take out like the coughs and everything like that. So it could get down to at least
Okay.
26.
Okay. We might want to get this down to about 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
Yeah,